Hey, how's it going, folks? My name's Matthew, aka EZBOT, and welcome back to another episode of Elektron Talk. I have no idea what episode it is. I think it's 48. Yeah, today we're going to talk about removing gear from your existing setup. The reason that I'm talking about this is because I took the Digatone out of the mix, and I want to talk about how I feel about that because it's been a part of my setup for a long time. And I'm not permanently taking it out. It's just got, I've had it for a long time. It's gotten a little beat up. It's like missing the feet on it. And the audio input jacks are a little thrashed and sometimes scratchy. I got scratchy pots. There's just a bunch of stuff with it. I need to send it off to get some repairs. You know, I've had it for many years and I gig out with it all the time. But before we jump into that whole experience, today's stream is sponsored by our lovely overlords. DistroKid. Like I said, they're my overlord. Hey, get out of the picture screen. Hang on a second. Let's fix that. Yeah, DistroKid. Look at that. What? Oh, no, I'm not getting any better at that. Whatever. Let's get back over here. Wait a second. DistroKid. Yeah, what is DistroKid? DistroKid is a platform for launching your music. They offer a whole bunch of services for independent artists and for labels alike, and they'll even help you get your webpage started. They have a whole bunch of cool stuff for like just getting artists looking like professionals and feeling like professionals and presenting themselves professionally. So I think that's great, but we're going to talk about some stuff I think people don't really talk about with them a little bit later on in the stream. Right now, let's get back to Elektron Stock. Elektron Stock Talk. Shop Talk. Elektron Shop Talk. It's actually not a bad name for a stream. What's going on, yo? Kinga, hello. Michael, hello. Circo, hello. What's going on? I love all three of you. Just wonderful people popping in here. Yeah, so what's up, Alex? Let's take a look. Switching things over. Ta-da. Scoot this on the other side. Bonk. Look, no Digatone. Look at this tape here. It says, put stuff here, please. Fill the void. Where this used to be where the Digatone was. I'm playing a show. I was trying not to play shows for a couple of months, and I agreed to play a show again anyway, before December. And so I'm playing a show November 9th at the Belltown Yacht Club in Seattle with EZBOT and a couple other artists from out of town. Let me see if I can find the graphic to get their artist names. One of them is named Cam. That's a buddy who I've worked with, and their artist name I'm not super familiar with. I want to plug that again a little bit later on the stream after I find the poster. But the reason I even brought it up is that I'm playing a show again, so now here I am back at needing to practice and write some new music because I don't want to play the exact same sets. I already have some new music that I haven't played at any shows yet using the new techno performance template on the Octatrack. Right now we have the classic Ultimate Effects template loaded, running my classic set. I have my OP1 over here just to get me some sounds or just like maybe to get a track started. That's kind of what this does for me, is just fills the void. I know it's Circo's favorite instrument. Right, Circo? That's what I heard. It was your absolute most favorite piece of kit ever, and you wish you had one really bad. Yeah, I'm not kidding about that. Ghostface, what's up? Analog Rhythm Mark II was my first gear. 8 months later, I have now all Elektron instruments you can buy. That's what I'm talking about, dude. Well, you can't go wrong. I love Elektron stuff. You know what feels good? You know what just feels good to say? Is like when you just know that you like something and you're just like, you know what, I'm not going to dance around the fact that I think this stuff is awesome and I just love talking about it and doing it and sharing it with people and just I even love diving into the manuals on these things. Like, I enjoy the manual. It's like a pastime for me. I've read the Octatrack manual countless times. I have to admit, I haven't really read much in the Digatone manual. But we took the Digatone off the table today, so that doesn't really matter. Booyakasha. Let's crack this sucker open, huh? Get some cold drink. Actually, I forgot to put it in the fridge, so it's not very cold. How are the levels? Can you guys hear me all right? Let's see if you can hear this music all right. Got a grandmother. Picked up the Moog grandmother. Right here. We're not going to hear it today because it's not a part of the stream, but you already know it's awesome. It's the Moog grandmother. Like, come on. And we're not going to talk about in music acquiring them either, even though that is sad. I suppose. I reckon so. Somebody made the point. I was like, get a great grandmother before In Music starts making these, because they're not going to be making them in Tennessee anymore. Likely, they're going to make their really expensive stuff in Tennessee, and so it's like, I got one, still has the tag, made by employee-owned company, and somebody was like, well, there wasn't enough of the employees owning the company. Maybe it was Kinga who even said it. Or no, it was Mikey303, who was like, there wasn't enough employee-owned company shares to stop them from being sold. And that's true. So I guess it wasn't an entirely employee-owned company. It was only a partly employee-owned company. It's kind of a trick. A little tricky stuff. Anyway, I don't want to get into some controversial music gear topics. I want to talk about making music. So I took the Digatone out. I got my set in here that I usually play. Like one of my, I've worked on this set the longest. It's been going on for a long time. And I've been trying to see, like, oh my God. I've been trying to see what's it like to play the set with the Digatone removed. I don't even know what songs have Digatone in them and what don't. So now I'm kind of like trying to figure out if I can replace some of the sounds that the Digatone did in these tracks, which is actually kind of like changing the whole vibe of some of the songs. I'll have to like work on new versions of that song essentially from removing the Digatone, because the Digatone provided me with polyphony, like true polyphony, as opposed to sampled polyphony on the Digitact or the chord engine in here, which does not count as polyphony. It's a paraphonic engine, and it doesn't, it makes chordal sounds, but I wouldn't call it, I don't know. It just doesn't do the trick like the Digatone does. But so far, I haven't been that disappointed. There's a couple tracks I literally can't play without the Digatone. I've noticed. I was like, wow, there's huge parts that were definitely very Digatone heavy, and I'd have to really remake them entirely, and it's just not worth the effort. I'd rather just have the Digatone back or just not play those tracks. But one thing I have noticed is this is my old setup. It used to be Octatrack, Digitact, Digatone, and my rule for the longest time was only 3 pieces of equipment at a time, because I felt like, well, for one, I'm using the Octatrack as a performance mixer, so I could kind of like, there's times where I can ignore it and just work on this stuff, and there's times where I can just work on the Octatrack and ignore these pieces. And when I have 3 pieces of kit here, it is quite a bit to remember where the melodic elements are coming from, where are the, mostly the melodic stuff, because the Digatone and the Syntact kind of share melodic duties in my performance setups. And so now it's just a smaller footprint, and I feel like I can play with the machines more and kind of know what's going on a little bit easier without having 3 machines here. However, I do plan on bringing the Digatone back. I don't know if I could entirely go without it. But so like the topic in the video and on the thumbnail is, is less gear better for a live performance? And even like Circo's in the chat right now. Here's an example of a short conversation we were having on Instagram, just kind of a back and forth thing where I was kind of, he took his Octatrack out of the mix and is using Ableton. Although I don't consider that less gear, but he was going for a less footprint of the large Octatrack. He was already bringing his laptop anyway. So they were taking this out of the mix just for space and maybe convenience. I don't know. To me, not convenience, but that's just me. I'd rather not use the computer and use a dedicated piece of hardware. But people go out and play shows or artists go out and when they play shows, they don't always bring their whole kit. Sometimes they'll DJ their performances, but I don't really consider that the same thing as what we're discussing here. Just maybe they'll make a smaller modular skiff to go perform their like techno shows out with, or they'll just load stems from their tracks onto something like the Octatrack and then bring a synthesizer to kind of like play on top of that. Everybody's always trying to shrink their setup down to the smallest setup possible to go perform a show. And that's not been what I've done. I've always used exactly what I make my music with. I use a Digitact, a Digatone, a Syntact, an Octatrack, and a TB03, and I sample all my instruments from my studio into my Digitact. And I'm wondering what other people's thoughts are on this. I've noticed that when I have less gear on the table, I do make music a lot faster. I have noticed that when I just have a piece of kit or when I work in a single ecosystem, I do make music a lot faster. And I tend to finish music when I work in a smaller group of instruments. And maybe other people don't feel that way. Some folks like to have, a wall of keyboard synthesizers and a wall of drum machines. And it looks so lovely to me. I love that idea of having all those synthesizers available for me to play with. But I can, out of the corner of my eye, I spy those things. And I'm like, oh, I should go over and play with them. And then I kind of ignore the project that I'm working on. So I found that for me, just kind of like, we talked about this in the last stream a little bit, that having less stuff to look at, even in my peripheral view, is actually quite helpful for me to finish my music. What's going on? I think I need to turn the fan on behind me because I am getting hot. Talking makes you hot. There's also this light that, is bright. Give me 1 second. Let me turn the fan on, and then I saw there's a lot of comments. I really do want to read these and share, talk about this. Okay, I'm back. And so is my dog. My dog's back barking. I don't have any packages coming today. Just barking at absolute nonsense. Hey, come here. Come here, Jam. All right, little sweet demon. She's a demon. What are you gonna do? I can't get a dog sitter when I work from home. It's like, do I get a dog sitter while I work from home? It's just a dog. But at the same time, I work in audio. So it's like such a pain. Okay, anyway. Let's see what the chat was saying. Let's start with Ruffian here. I sold my DT and I'm loving the ST and the AR now. Interesting. You sold your DT. I would never do that. Although I'm not saying that it's a bad idea that you did. I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't click with some people, but I would never, ever get rid of this. In fact, I am going to 100% get another one. There's no doubt in my mind. I've had two before, but I would like more Digitacts. I want them all over my house. I would wish there was a Digitact in every room that I went into. Ghostface, Syntac with analog heat plus effects is a beast combo. I'd be interested to try that combo out, but I have never used a heat plus effects. As weird as that may seem, considering how much I love Elektron, never gotten to try one. Maybe one day we'll get some better poly features on the Syntact? Don't think so. Don't think so, Alex, but that would be cool. I say yes, I think 3 pieces tops. Seek, PhD, .live. Okay, that's good info. And I've heard some of your music, and it's great. So, also interesting. I just took out my Tanzabar and... Right, so that's what I'm talking about. Clearer focus. So when we're looking at Elektron gear, what can we even do live on this kit? On the Digitact, we can, do some control all stuff, but it's really kind of janky live performance effects on the Digitact. Like, it's not great at live stuff. I mean, it's good at, bringing some audio in, muting tracks, and the control all features can be cool, but really it's just a few tricks. It's doesn't have many tricks for live performance. The Syntact has a lot more tricks because it has actual synthesizers on it, so we can we can tweak the actual sound of a voice like at its core, as opposed to tweaking a snapshot of some audio, aka a sample. So I think the Syntax got a lot more tricks for live performance. So this is a good box to just sit around and dial stuff in. Over here, I feel like we're just kind of unmute, slowly bring some volume up, bring some delay reverb, maybe open a filter, close a filter. Over here, we're tweaking some sounds, going in the effects track. There's just a lot more to do on a synthesizer live. I just got so distracted. But of course, with the Octatrack, we can just kill them all because it's just a beast for live performance. It is the best live performance piece of kit, in my opinion, besides, well, there is nothing besides. It is the best. There is no better. It's number one, I think. I think I'm right, too. I do think I'm right about that. I'm like very interested in anything that could, compete with it. I would try it. I would compare it. I would battle with it. But yeah, when I was playing with my Digatone, Digatact, we're talking a total of 16 tracks, or no, sorry, a total of 12 tracks with Digatone, Digatact, and the Octatrack doing performance duty. So it's really just, capturing loops and stuff. And yeah, this can be even more complex than this just because of how deep I like to get into it. But if we were just to ignore this and just talk about how many sounds are we able to play at the same time, a Digatone and a Digatact is a maximum of 12 sounds at once. And the chances of you hitting 12 sounds at the exact same time are pretty freaking slim. And if you did, it's probably some mud. It's a pretty muddy mix. But what I really liked about that setup is that I spent a lot of time messing with the Digatone live. And I found that with the 3 sets I have, plus the Octatrack and the TB03 in my live sets, my attention to opening and closing filters and adjusting synthesizers was dramatically cut down. And I was way more just focused on getting through tracks, unmuting parts, bringing volumes in, and playing with performance effects, because that's as much as I could really handle. I did get, I would remember this song has a part that's very important. I open the filter cutoff, or I bring the volume down over here, and, I have a couple of tricks that are just like staples of a tune, I think. But I spent way less time diving into sounds. And I think that's where modular really shines, is because modular is like, doesn't matter how many pieces you have, that's all you can do is dial those sounds in, because modular is such an absolute pain in the ass to perform live with if it's not just making voices. Like if you build a groove box in modular, like I always end up doing, and I will share once I'm done constructing my newest version, which is the NerdSeek Rostam Assimilator and some Nerd FX aids, Happy Nerding FX aids, and some other stuff. I'm looking over trying to see it, but I can't actually see it. I haven't completed the set, but yeah, I'm just finding that I really like the 3-piece setup. Very distracted. I'm easily distracted by my own comments, but I'm reading the chat right now. Ever considered a desktop polysynth like like the Nina? Total protonic reversal must not. I wish I could highlight this and put it on the screen. Why doesn't YouTube add that? The Nina is literally one of the only polysynths I have considered adding to the setup. It's really big though. It's bigger than it's about the size of the Octatrack. So that part I don't like, and I would want it to be up front so I could tweak it. 12 voice multi-timbral, the pots that jump. I love it. It sounds really great. I have considered that one. It is the one I'm considering the most. Kinga says, I think it's makes for better music when I don't have to wrangle gear. I can just focus on music. I agree. That's exactly what I'm getting at. Seek, I like a synth sampler and a drum machine and then effects, but yeah, 3 instruments. Okay. Circo, experimenting with Ableton for the mixer, eliminated the Octatrack and analog heat from my live rig. But did it eliminate, the analog heat and the Octatrack from your rig entirely? Why? And so this is you just started a new branch of the topic. For me, I don't want to accommodate my live setup. When I played in bands, let's let's have a talk. Let's have a talk, you and me, internet, and also Circo, but the internet in general. When I was playing in bands, playing guitar and singing, much younger version of myself that was very dedicated to that craft, highly dedicated, extremely practiced. We practiced more than we played out because we were just like, all we wanted to do. We just got together and played and played and played. But we never had any sort of like backing track stuff or anything like that, because the whole idea for me, and I was the songwriter in this band, so the whole idea for me and the band, they all agree, we're all on the same page with this, is that we couldn't play music on an album that we couldn't perform live. And I love that sentiment. I absolutely love that sentiment. And so if I'm going to go out and play a show, I want to play a show that sounds at least as close to the album as possible. And this is just not exactly about albums and playing shows. I just mean it's the sentiment of wanting to be able to recreate your original idea as best as possible in a live setting. And that's how I feel about my live electronic music too. I want to be able to play my exact set live that I played when I wrote it, because that's how I'm going to perform it the best. So now I'm wondering, when people do stuff like take out this piece of kit, replace it with your computer, take out a piece of kit or replace it with this piece of kit because it's easier or smaller or whatever, do you feel like you're still playing the same show? Do you feel like you're still playing the same music? You know, I think people understand what I'm talking about right here. Like, if I was going to use Ableton or another piece of kit instead of my Octatrack for a live show, I would also just only use that when I was writing the music in the first place. Like, I would just stop using that piece of kit. It would be eliminated from my workflow because I wouldn't have a use for it. But also, I am highly committed to not using my computer at live shows. I love this stuff. I love the walls and the confinement that exists within it. So I don't want to use the computer. I'm very aware that I could bring my laptop and my RME audio interface and process all of this stuff into Bitwig, or just use Bitwig for that matter. I feel like once I go here, this is stupid. This may be a stupid analogy, but you know, like if you went out if you've ever been somebody who goes out and drinks, for me, this is, a long time ago, but when you're drinking and you suddenly are like, oh no, I have to pee. And then you go pee, you break the seal, right? All of a sudden you have to pee all night. You just have to pee all the time, all the time. For me, using the laptop for my music is breaking the seal. It's going pee. That's a messed up analogy, but that's what I mean, is like, if I use it, if I open myself up to that possibility, if I put that in the universe, then I'm just going to consistently do that if it's a part of my live set. Am I right? Is that weird? Is that an awful analogy? But I think there's some sense to it. Oh, you saw Ruffian. Let's correct Ruffian because he's probably feeling so sad. My bad. Ruffian sold his Digatone and not his Digitact. There's less shame there. Than there is selling your Digitact. Quite a bit less. But I would say you should never sell that either. I love that thing too. Deluge is cool, but the Octatrack is probably a little better live. The Octatrack is way better live. Without a doubt. I mean, I have very strong opinions, right? Like comparing anything to the Octatrack, you have to have like, the Deluge can't do what the Octatrack does. I love the Deluge. Actually, I'm currently looking to see if anybody will trade me some like modular, that I have a lot of modular. Modular, if anybody, hey, this might be a good time. If anybody is in like my Discord, you can join my Discord. It's free. Just join it. There's links to it and all the chat descriptions on all my videos and stuff. But if anybody has a Deluge with a screen on it in good condition that they're not vibing with and they want some modular stuff, like even some cases, hit me up on my Discord because I want to get a Deluge back in my studio because I think they're really cool. I think they're a lot of fun, and I use them to write a lot of songs with like acoustic guitars and stuff, like singing and playing with them. I just think they're great. So yeah, hit me up if that's a possibility. Let's keep going. JJ Digatone is my fave Elektron gear to play live. Maybe the machine drum as well. I don't own a machine drum. That thing's very expensive. Sebastian asks, are you using song mode for performance? I know we haven't played any music yet, but this is, this is an Elektron talk episode, so we're going to be chatting. Just want everyone to know, like, where's the music? It'll happen. Or it won't, but it'll probably happen. No, I don't use song mode for my performances. I have considered it on the Octatrack. And that's just because on the Octatrack, if you use song mode, especially with my performance templates, it's actually a really cool advantage you can have. But if you use song mode on the Octatrack, you can assign scenes that start off on A and B as a part of your performance. And so I could actually have a scene, I could have my crossfader on B and have a scene assigned to B, like a resample scene or something that I know will always be ready. And it'll just put me on the correct scene for the right song and give me that exact experience that I want for a live performance. So I have seriously considered doing it, but I am probably not going to do that anytime soon because it's just another layer of complexity that I'd have to go through to get my sets ready. Michael asks, STDTOT is my setup for tomorrow's show. Oh yeah, yeah, we should talk about that. Tomorrow I'm hosting another Modbang event. It's the Halloween event at the 4Bs here in Seattle. And Mike Horiza is one of the performers. You should come down and check out their music. It's absolutely fantastic. Does a great job. I'm happy to have him playing. Clever or whatever forever says, has anyone been able to record all tracks live into live? Trying to get the push 3 to play nice with Elektron. I have never tried that, and I don't know if I will. Any militant Behringer haters? Why are you looking for them, saggy dogs? Hopefully we don't have any militant haters at all here on anything. Don't want militant haters. Jared, how much is too much? 2 more than you currently have. All right, 2 more than I currently have. So is that too? You're saying that's too much? So a Digatone and another piece of kit, or just any 2 pieces of kit would be too much? I don't know. Man, preach. That is the whole reason I only produce in hardware. Thank you, Seek. I hope I'm saying that right. Olivier Sarfati, hopefully I'm saying that right too. Soldier A4 DT and DN to finance modular, kept the OT and heat, not looking back. Nope. Yeah, I think that's great. That's great. Good for you. I mean, that's fine if you're gonna if you have a goal. I just mean the Digitact is an amazing piece of kit, and if you're gonna play an Elektron realm, it's one you should have. It's one of the best. DeGrady Records, yes. Okay. I like the idea of albums being a different thing, incorporating stuff that's not possible to do in them live. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about. These are just ideas that I have and sentiments that are from a long time ago, and they've stuck with me. I am open-minded and absolutely open to change. 100%. I used to be pretty like, I used to be kind of, not for electronic music very much. And in fact, I didn't really even know that some of the music that I loved was electronic music. I didn't really understand what I was listening to. It was just music. I was like, how are they doing that? And eventually I started to understand. I was like, oh, there's a sampler, oh, that's an old MPC, 5000 that they're using to play that sound that they sampled and repitched. I'm like, oh, that sounds really cool. I like that. Or, oh, that's a little, Casio tone. I was like, oh, I love those dirty old synth sounds on it, and those string sounds are really cool. And eventually I learned that it was that everything is good and that you can use any of it if you're open to trying it out. And so I'm consistently trying to open myself up to trying new stuff. But I was saying, that sentiment still is strong in me to be able to reproduce what I'm doing in the studio to live, but it also has to do with how good of a show can you put on. Because if you're extremely familiar with this, how do you get extremely familiar with something else that does something similar without stopping your practice with one piece of kit and engaging on another piece of kit? You have to kind of like, I can play exactly what I do at home at a show because I've committed to using the same pieces of gear for both events, you know, for writing the music and performing the music. And I find that to be incredibly helpful and makes it a lot easier when I play a show to not feel as nervous, because I don't have this notion of like, oh, I hope that thing that I tried works. I know it works because I've done it 100 times with this exact setup. So that's kind of where I'm going with that. I had like a triple Americano before I started the stream. So as you can hear, I have a lot of energy. I'm still improvising either way. I'm not using Ableton for any sounds or sequences. I know, I'm not. There's no call out to you, Circo. I totally, you are the improvise king. I refer people to checking out your videos and what you do all the time because you're fantastic at live improv. I'm just avidly against myself using any sort of computer stuff live, unless I'm doing live coding stuff, because I have performed that way. Matthew pees on his laptop. Got it. You nailed it, Michael. Peed on the laptop. I feel like if I was playing live on a laptop, I would just be queuing tracks. That might be how it goes. I don't know. Only time I ever played live with my laptop, it was live coding, and I was coding the music live, or you know, tweaking code live, and that's kind of the only experience I've had with it. So I'm kind of talking out of turn because I honestly don't know. Like, I couldn't tell you the right way to do it. I do know that things like this, like the Paulian mini tracker, the M8, these little teeny pieces of kit like this, I love the idea of just playing with them only live and like working within its ecosystem and seeing how far I can push it, and then being like, this is all we're using. And or maybe just like a synthesizer that it's sequencing or something, but kind of like, you know, utilizing, if it's got 8 tracks, then that's all you get. That stuff excites me. That's what gets me excited about live hardware electronic music, is, you know, seeing how far I can push the limits of these pieces of kit. How well can I get to know them? I feel like I can learn these like 100%. I could learn this thing 100%, but I don't think that'll ever happen. But I feel like I don't know if I could ever 100%, so to speak, any sort of program on my laptop. Unless it was like a small sequencer program or something. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's not a bad thing either, to be, you know, that it goes on forever and it's like this infinite canvas and does all that. Okay. So much talking has already happened. Let's do a little bit of music. I have my old set that I've been playing live loaded in here, but I have the digatone removed. And I do want to, let's just listen to this really quick. So this song doesn't have the digatone in it, but when I wrote it, it did. I haven't played it in a couple of months, so it's gonna be really rusty. Let's get this keyboard going. Good thing to do, I'm using my Ultimate Effects template, which is available on Patreon or Ko-fi or right here on the YouTube channel if you want to snag it. I think it's worth it if you have an Octatrack, because it will just give you a ton of effects to perform with immediately. That's enough of a plug on that. I don't know which effect to start with. Maybe... That sounded whack. Kind of a crazy ending. I do think that I need time stretch to be on for that effect at the very end of this track. All right, so I just performed one of my songs that I definitely wrote with the digatone, without the digatone, and I think that it still sounds pretty decent. Like, I don't think that was, I don't think that was bad. I do a lot of electronica, as you may have noticed. This wasn't techno or house or jungle or anything like that. That was definitely, I don't know, electronica, I suppose. Electro house, maybe? Some other people would call it. At least that's what I think. Yeah, I think that turned out pretty good. I don't know. You tell me. Not bad at all. All right, well, thanks. Let's try another one. Can't do that one for sure. All right, here's some like dub techno that I definitely made with the digatone and is now gone. Let's see what happens. I'm also using this live session to prep myself for playing a show soon, so. Haven't played this one in a long time. Let's make sure this 303 is like not too loud. Oh, it's gonna be super loud for sure. of tune. Oh man. Good thing I didn't do that live. And why is that so incredibly loud? Oh, it's coming in here. That sequence sounds absolutely whacked. Let's pretend that didn't happen. Did it sound in tune? Actually, I really like this song. I do like a techno vibe. Theramina Covington. Hello. Sounds a little better right there. On this one was supposed to be at 128. We're gonna have to go back and look. This one, 125? Okay. It's supposed to be 125. That's why the delay did that weird sound. That was like, the Big Attack uses a tape delay. That sounds right. end was turned on? Maybe that was the problem. Let's see. The slide parameter. It's like every one of these triggers is sliding, even though the slide value is at 0. I don't know. I'm going to dive into that some other time. That's a little finicky. Okay, so that's 2 songs. Obviously it's working now. On this one, it's the right melody. Maybe we'll just steal this melody. And put that on this track. Yeah. Shia. Yeah, that's way better. Because it is coming over here. Oh my god, I forgot. This is going in here. This is going in here. Alright. That's much better. That's much better. This song was really, it needed that 303. That was really helpful. How hard would it be to work a pedal like a microcosm into this setup? So actually I had this thought. I was thinking I might pair the microcosm with the OP1 or the Mood Mark II. Or like a little modular skiff with this, and just have this like little ambient box that I can use like in between songs, this like breakdown from a track, and go into this like huge lush ambient soundscape just temporarily, and then maybe like fade it out and into some music. I think that could be really cool. Maybe. Let's try some other tunes. Bank 3, 1. I think this one relied pretty heavily on the digatone. It doesn't start like that. There's like a noise riser that comes in that like says, play this, you know, bring the kick in the bass in, and that's what the noise riser is for, is to cue me to start the track. No, I'm just waiting for it. I think it's at like 16 bars, something. It's a ways in. That almost scared me. Wait, I can't do this right now. It might be coming up. Here it is. Right? And that was just an unmute and bringing some elements in, but I used a noise riser to bring me into that moment. So you can program a noise riser in your Syntakt or your Digitack. Both of them are completely capable of programming noise risers. That's not it. I think that's it. Is it? No. Here it is, on number 12. You can see I have a trigger that comes in 4 of 4, but it's at half speed, half scale, at 128 steps. So it waits quite a while. And then it's I use an LFO ramp to just ramp in the filter cutoff, and I already have it high passed in the little synth noise. So here we go, another one. So every time it happens, it cues me to bring in the next element so that I don't play the track too fast or too slow. I like that idea of having like little audio cues to move you through your set. So far, I'm finding that this is definitely enough. This is less, and it is working for me. Although I can play some songs I can't play as well. Anything left to bring in because the digitone's gone, so I have to write some more stuff. I'm not using all the tracks, but I have plenty of tracks left on my Syntakt, and I mostly do monophonic synth sounds anyway, so I think this should cover it. But I do love the arpeggiator on the digitone, and that's kind of what I think is missing from this setup, is not having an arpeggiator. I know the Octatrack has a great arpeggiator, but I'm not going to arpeggiate. I'm not sending note values to these boxes from the Octatrack. I'm just not going to do it. No one will talk me into it because it's a terrible idea. That's not the best transition into this. There was definitely some digitone stuff supposed to be playing right here. Too bad I played some wrong notes, but what are you gonna do? It's because I don't know what scale I'm playing, and I was just kind of earballing it. So we're missing the digitone here. pretty hardcore, I'm gonna be honest, because there was at least 2 tracks on the Digatone filling in this dead space here with some like heavy melody stuff. It's not necessary, and I can definitely replace it here, but what would I even do? Let's check out. That's goofy. That's a little goofy sounding. This. Once again, I feel like a bunch of elements are missing. Bringing in the sidechain right here is pretty cool. That like effects that are just built into my templates. You just do this anytime I want. I love it. That's why the Octatrack's the best. Let's go over here. There we go. This once again doesn't have time line. Well, I think that song still is pretty good without the digatone. I just need to replace a couple of parts. Like, it still has like the punch at the end, which is like at a live, like on a big system, that like cruise up like that and the sidechain pumping is enormous. Like, it just feels so impactful. Like right here with headphones on, it even feels big to me just with headphones on. But like, this is a small little world that we're in right now versus being in a live setup with a sub and stuff. Like, there's no subs in these. What are they? Biodynamic DT 720s or whatever. Or whatever. All right, let's move on. No, I don't know about that one. Definitely can't play that one. We can play this one. Let's see. Let's check this next pattern. So I just added some drum fills over here. I think it's useful. lot of wrong notes on here, because once again, I don't know what key I'm playing it. That one definitely works without the digatone. I don't know if there was any digatone in that track to begin with, so it works for me. All right, our overlords, DistroKid, need us to do our sponsorship. Sponsorship time, commercial time. Woo woo! I should get like some sort of alarm that goes off. It's like Pee-wee's Playhouse. It's time to do a commercial. All right, DistroKid is a distributing platform for independent artists and labels. You can be a label and use DistroKid. DistroKid's pretty cool. So let's take a look at what I got on the screen capture here. There's something I wanted to show off about DistroKid today really quick that I found because I've always wondered, and I asked somebody at DistroKid, what do you do in this situation where you need to correct something? And if you go into helpful when needed section, there's a thing called fixer. And I thought this was really great. And I wanted to show this to folks who were kind of like spooked about what to do when their music gets released, but they need to make a change. What do you do when you need to make a change to your music that's on Apple Music and on Spotify and on all these different platforms? You're not going to call DistroKid and talk to one of their reps. Maybe you are. I don't know. Maybe that is how it works. Maybe you can call them too, but you don't have to. You can go right on the website and you can just go in here and fix some stuff. Someone else is using my music incorrectly on my page, or some of my music's wrong on that page. You just choose what store that you need to correct it with, because there's so many of them, and then find some music. On this one, we have this, like, here's Get In and Drive. That's our compilation that we did in the Discord, and we're about to do another one. We're trying to decide if we're going to do acid techno, dub techno, jungle, or there was a couple other options. I wanted to do dub techno. I think that'd be cool. And then you can choose the artist. It's just me. I'm the only artist on here for them to pick from. And then you can add a link to it so they can find it on the store, and then you can get it fixed. But there's also another fixer issue. Let's go to the fixer thing. What need fixing? Someone else is using music. Okay, here's the other part. So you can select a store and be like, hey, here's a link. They're doing this incorrectly, and DistroKid will fix it for you. I just think this is great because I've always wondered, how do you manage having music on so many different platforms? And apparently this is how that gets done. How's it going? I hope everybody is enjoying the stream, and I hope the music sounds all right. I am pondering keeping this more minimal setup for live shows, not with the OP1. I honestly probably, unless I was doing that Holocosm OP1 ambiance interlude thing, I wouldn't actually use this. For one, it's so weird that this isn't C1 to me. I'm always trying to go back to my C chords, but they actually start here. And for whatever reason, it's my brain says the beginning of the keyboard is supposed to be C, but it's not. It's an F. And I forget that, and it screws me up all the time when I'm trying to improv. So yeah, that's part of the reason why I wouldn't do that. But also, I just don't need to have it. So get out of here. I don't even know why it's making sound. Is it playing a track or something? No? Well, I don't know. Cowboy Curtis uses DistroKid. All right, Cowboy Curtis. I guess you would lose all the conditional trigs. Where'd all this chat come from suddenly? Do you have any processing? Oh, Tonalik asks, do you have any processing on the end of the chain? I want to say no to that question, but I think the truth is that I really kind of do. So this whole setup runs into an SSL Big 6. Yes, I shelled out the massive amount of money it is for a Big 6. They're really expensive. I don't need a Big 6. I kind of regret buying it. I think that electronic music producers that are kind of like doing the whole, I don't know. Actually, I don't even know if I'm right about that. I shouldn't even say that because I don't even know if that's a good tip at all. Because I don't know if what I'm doing is the best. I'm still working that out. It's like everything's a work in progress for me. But I'm running it into the Big 6. I am kind of like on the EQ, the channel on the Big 6, I am tweaking the highs ever so slightly because I feel like the Octatrack does kind of like siphon a little bit of that away, even though I've compensated for that with the compressors on the inputs on the Octatrack. I do have a compressor on each input that is doing a mild, like what I call like a tickling to the high end. It's kind of like sparkle, and it doesn't really suck away any of the transients. It probably is killing a little bit of the low end, but I don't think that's such a bad thing with this setup, especially with the Syntact where you don't have control over the low end very much. On the analog engines, you only get one filter, so you can't tame your low end at all here. I also do have a master, well, no, on the other template, I have a master EQ on a per track basis, but on this template, you don't have a master EQ. Anyway, to answer your question, it's running into my Big 6 on a channel strip, tweaking the highs, and it's going into a G-bus compressor, which is, all you do is really just dial in how much of the compressor works. You don't get to tweak any of the settings. It's like in this like perfect SSL compressor thing. It is a real G-bus SSL compressor, so I think it does a pretty decent job of gluing it all together. So really it's compressed here, and I'm using the Digitac's compressor as well, mildly, as once again, just on the drum bus here. And then it's sparkled into the Octatrack, and then it's going into the SSL, and then it's going out to you. And that is what you're hearing, is that signal chain. It's pretty simple signal chain. It's just a nice mixer with a nice compressor, bus compressor on it. I used to have the analog heat always on in the mix, but I brought the analog heat over to my Nord Drum 3P, and the Nord Drum 3P actually loves the analog heat. They're best friends now, and I can go over there and just like tweak a synth sound and bang on the drums and make these insane loops with huge distortion, envelope followers, and the drums, because it's just all about transients and me hitting stuff. You know, hitting lightly, triggering the envelope follower, hitting hard really triggers the envelope follower. It's an incredibly fun workflow using the Nord drum or any sort of drum synthesizer that you actually physically play with the analog heat. So I've been having a great time with that, and that's probably going to stay over there for a while. But that used to be at the end of chain, and I was doing what every other person does with their analog heat and just using it as a Fox compressor with a little bit of tweaking on the EQ. And it does sound good to do it that way, but I mean, it's a distortion unit. I want to use the distortions. So I'm having more fun with the Nord drum than I had with it being a master chain kind of effect. Blair Lyons, are the vocals coming from the Digitactor or the Octatrack? The vocals are, every sound is coming from the external gear. When I perform live, I don't actually use my Octatrack for samples. I just use it for capturing loops, mangling loops. And so I guess that's samples, but capturing loops, mangling them, using them to transition from part to part. I just use it as performance effects. So everything is coming, all the sampled sounds, voices is coming from here. When I play live, sometimes I also have a little box that has an XLR input with a compressor built into it and stuff like that. And I will sing or talk into it and use that as vocal lines on top of my music in a live setting, because you can't really do that here. I have a bunch of, I have like a VT4, I have a Eurorack vocoder, I sold my other vocoder. I have another box that does vocoding and has a mic input that's pretty cool. One day I will share that with you guys as well. The day is not today. Winx Music. I just put together a somewhat similar setup, but with the Octatrack Digatone and Moog Siren. Getting lots of inspiration here. Oh, cool. Well, I'm glad you're getting inspired. Octatrack Digatone, Moog Siren. Moog Siren, very good. Very nice. I couldn't pass on getting a Moog Grandmother. The sound is impeccable. And now I feel like I have... Okay, there was a guy locally nearby here that was selling he sold... What did he sell to Carl? Well, anyway, he was selling a Moog Model D, the new one, the Rev 4, for like 3,500 mint. And I was like, that's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, that's a lot of money. I'm definitely not rolling in the cash. Like we're running a YouTube channel and a Patreon and stuff like that. And my synthesizer company that does the cables and stuff. These cables, these balance cables, I make those, or I develop them and sell them in my shop. You should get them, modbang.com, check it out. But anyhow, there was a guy selling a Model D, and I seriously considered buying that because I have a Prophet 5, and that's my like super beautiful polysynth that I'll never get rid of. And I was like, I need the best monosynth on the planet, and that's, to me, the sound of the Model D. But there was such a good deal on this Grandmother, and it's in such good condition, and it's the Black Noir version, which is my preferred version. I like the color one too, but this is just, it's so pretty. I couldn't pass it, and it really does have the same sound. It's pretty similar. I think the Matriarch's a little bit closer to the actual Model D, but with paraphonic playback as well. This just has the, 2 oscillators as opposed to 3 from the Model D. I think that's the big difference. Anyway, I don't even remember what the question was. Oh yeah, you got a Moog Siren. Yeah. Isn't the Siren supposed to be like better at lead lines as opposed to the Minotaur or something? Isn't it like have better tracking and a higher range or something? Holy bejesus, dude, your set with these risers now are superb. Thanks, man. Or whatever. Clever or whatever. Forever. I like that. Hey, it's Vax back. Just picked up a Syntect the other day, and now I have a full Digi Trio plus the OT. I'm telling myself I'm probably done now and don't need the A4 or analog rhythm, but the Elektron gear really is like Pokemon. You gotta catch them all. Is that where we're going with that one? Exploding Tiger, could you try copying the MIDI parts from your Digatone to the Syntect? How would I do that? How would I copy? Oh, do you mean like manually plug them in? I could. I don't want to do that. That sounds like a whole lot of work. But it might be worth it. I would do that if I was like, we're going to go play a huge event and I need to have this stuff and I can't bring this gear. I'd go through the hassle. But if I'm just playing like a local show here, then I'm probably just going to go with something a little bit easier. Dot Daddy Longlegs. Sounds sick. Okay, thank you. Cowboy Curtis. Oh, that's right. That's what the last thing we said. How can I sample from a VST to the Digitac while connected to the Syntect? You could take, if you had an interface that has multiple outputs, you just route the audio out one of the outputs into the Digitac and turn off monitoring on your Digitac so it doesn't create a feedback loop. I find that the signal is really low through MIDI USB. That's because, well, not through MIDI, but the signal is low through USB, and you can turn it up in, where is it? Is it audio routing? No, it's not in audio routing. You can turn it up in system, USB config. Where is it? It's not in the global effects mix. Am I actually forgetting? I thought it was in the USB config. I thought Audio? No, it's back here. Well, you can definitely, I know you can do it. You can do it on the syntax, right? Maybe it has to be in a different mode. Am I wrong? Am I actually wrong about that? Oh, on the syntax, you can turn it up. You can't even see. You guys, why didn't anybody shout at me and tell me I'm doing that? On the syntax, you can turn up the USB mix. I thought you could do it on the DistroKid too. In USB, it's not, where was I? In routing. It's in audio routing. There it is. I'm being stupid. Look, you can actually turn up the USB mix for the audio. It can be done. Oh, we've been streaming for an hour and a half already. I guess I'm not writing any new music. Let's see. Tip, make sure you save Austin. Often. Save Austin. Save him.
You never know what might happen next. Make sure you save often. You never know what might happen next. 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 Make sure you save often. You never know what might happen next. You never know what might happen next. Often. You never know what might happen next. You never know.
Honestly, I don't know if I want to tweak the sound in here. transition like this. Kind of like fade out of it. This is it, yeah, this is it. It's supposed to go like this. Let's do it. Okay, what is going on here? Aha! Wait. No. 128. 128. Transitioning so weird. Why is that transitioning like that? For sure there was some more sounds on this track. It's too bad. What practice looks like, and possibly what the live performance would have looked like had I not practiced. Well, I'm going to continue to practice. and keep going. How long will the tape stop spin? Or I wanted to say how long will the tape stop, but that doesn't make any sense. Smash. Smash. I think that's a great, like, ender for a show, even though that transition was whack that I kept trying to try over and over again. I don't know what was going on there. But I also need to put in some musical cues in here. So that was a track that was really just these two machines and really not even using that many tracks. I think there's probably like 6 or 7. No, there's probably like 8 tracks going at a time for that whole song, because some sounds you don't need very much, like that big fat bass sound. You don't need that many. Analog engine on the Syntax is awesome. Something I like to do on the Syntax to give myself, like, to give songs like huge presence is I'll just I'll completely like ignore the delay on this entirely. Like for the rest of the tracks, like all they get is a reverb, no delays on any of the sounds. And I'll use the delay on the effects track and make really short delays and kind of build a chorus out of the delay for my bass lines on here, just to make them gigantic. And I think it's totally worth it if it's, you know, if this main purpose for this is just to give me a few synth tracks. So, I mean, it's applicable to only some of your tracks, but I've definitely found it very useful. Like, the effects track doesn't have to be just your, like, sidechain pumping track. There's other ways to do sidechain pumping, as I've pointed out in some other video tutorials. And I do have a bunch of videos coming out soon. I'm actually really excited about some of the videos that I'm going to be releasing in the next couple of weeks. It takes me a while to make videos because I don't like to just make videos on nothing. Like, I want it to be something interesting to talk about, and really it's got to be something that I'm actively excited about. And I do have some stuff that I want to talk about, and it's going to be on the Digitact, and it's going to be applicable to some of the other Elektron boxes, but also applicable to the Octatrack and your computer. Honestly, it's going to be, I know I'm like trying to build some excitement about it to some people that are watching a stream right now, but I'm excited about it. I'm trying to pump myself up, you know, so that I'll follow through and do it. So this has been a fun and rather productive stream for me. I am really discovering that less for me is maybe better because I'm spending more time playing on here, but I do think that I miss having a polysynth. I just don't want it to be this. I guess I could sample some more Prophet 5 stuff into it. Like, this is I think this is a Prophet 5 sample. No, this is the one that comes with it. I'll show you some of the Prophet 5 samples. So here's a Prophet 5 sound that I sampled from my Prophet. I think it sounds awesome. This one, chordy. Some Prophet 5 like dub chord sounds. A little bit of crackle in it. That got sampled into it. I don't know why that's there. I don't think it's a big deal though. Then the Prophet 5 piano sound. I really like it. It's hard for me to... Anyway, here's another one. This one's called Titty. I like it. And then Warble. I play this patch a lot on the actual Prophet 5. It is playing a fifth, so it's like it can get a little sloppy. But otherwise, this is a great multi-sampler. Not multi-sample sampler, because it doesn't do multi-samples, even though you can with the drum engine. Actually, and I think I have a multi-sample drum engine on here. Maybe not. This lovely reverb is making it sound so cool. Or this one's. Yeah. I don't have a multi-sample piano on there. I thought I did. I did at one point, and I think that OP1 I had was like, oh, I sold it. And then I ended up buying, I had bought 2 of them. That's what happened. And then something like that. I work at a synth shop, so like gear comes in my possession in and out very quickly. Because I'm literally in a synth store all the time. So what are you gonna do? Patchworks. Go to Patchworks, shop at Patchworks, patchworks.com. Let me plug the synth shop I work at. It's the best. We love Patchworks. Patchworks in Seattle. And again, come to the Modbang show tomorrow at the 4Bs at 7 o'clock. It's a free show, 5 performers, live hardware, electronic music. I'm going to be giving away some Modbang stuff, some like MIDI cables and balance cables and synthesizer stands and candy. Might do a kind of a costume contest type thing. You should please come and hang out with us. It's going to be a great time. It's totally free. It is 21 and up, unfortunately, so I'm sorry if you're under 21 and you want to go. Even though it is truly good, clean fun, you do have to be able to not have good, clean fun in order to show up. Actually, why am I switching back to this? It has been it's been almost 2 hours. I think this has been a really productive stream. I hope you enjoyed the topic of, is less enough? And I hope that the chat shows up in the video stream when it replays on YouTube for other folks that may end up watching this video, because the chat was really important and they brought up some really good points. So look to the chat for answers to the question that we posed at the beginning of the stream. If you want to support this channel, you can visit www.patreon.com/EZBOT. That's where you can get access to all of my Octatrack templates at a very, very low price versus buying it on Ko-fi or Coffee. I always call it Ko-fi because I'm a nerd. Which you can get the Octatrack templates on, or you can get it from Fourth Wall, which is actually embedded into this YouTube channel. You can see it right below where you're watching me talk. You can see that there's templates for sale there. If you want to get yourself some of these Octatrack Digitact risers, you can visit modbang.com. If you want to get them in all sorts of colors and shapes, they can connect together. You can actually build a custom stand to your liking with all of your boxes. And I have one for the A4 and analog rhythm coming out this week. I already have it in stock. I just haven't done photography for it. It makes your analog 4 and your analog rhythm completely flat, and it sits next to your Octatrack perfectly level. It's the coolest thing you've ever seen. I promise you're gonna love it. Otherwise, you can get some patch cables and synthesizer stands and audio cables and MIDI cables and t-shirts and stuff like that from modbang.com, which you should definitely shop at because it's the coolest. It's the coolest. I always have a hard time plugging my stuff. I always feel guilty about it for some reason, even though I shouldn't. Anyhow, visit the Patreon, like the video, leave a kind comment, and do something nice for somebody other than yourself by the end of the day, or you're going to go and be punished in a fiery inferno. Everybody take care. And thanks for hanging out. I'll see you next week.